In my opinion, movies make the world better, and these movies in this video are the ones that make my 2022 so much better. Welcome back to the channel, guys. And in this video, I want to talk about my top 10 favorite movies that came out 2022. This is like a sequel to my top 10 best series video. So if you've not seen that one, kindly check it out and welcome back. Like I said in my previous video about my series, art is subjective. You might not necessarily like these movies that I'm going to talk about in this movie, but these are the movies that I feel like resonated with me most. And I did not see a lot of mainstream movies this year, so there might be some movies that you'll be expecting to be on this list that are not on this list. So pardon me, I didn't see a lot of movies this year. Before I even got into 10 movies that I liked, I had to rack my brain because I didn't see so many movies this year. But that's not an excuse, so let's get into it. Number 10, Beowulf by Night. Beowulf by Night was a Marvel movie that I didn't think I was going to get in a very, very long time. And it was a movie that, when I saw the trailer, I was not too crazy about it. But when I saw the movie, I was like, oh my god, this is a Marvel movie that I needed to see, that I didn't think I was ever going to see. And it was so good. It is like so different from the normal Marvel movies you see. And it is very, very refreshing to see a movie like that from Marvel, because it feels like Marvel always just dish out the same kind of thing every time. But this movie is so much more different from what they usually do, and it was so good for it, and I enjoyed it so much. Number 9, Pearl. Pearl was an horror movie, and if you know me or if you don't know me, I'm not really a big fan of horror movies. I prefer dramas and crime dramas and comedies. But this horror movie is one horror movie that really stuck out to me because it was not shot like an horror movie. It didn't feel like an horror movie, but it was very, very horrific. And the performances from Mia Goth is the main character. She plays Pearl, and her performance in this movie was, man, so amazing. Like, her performance was one of the things that drive this movie so much. And there are other factors that drive the movie. But Mia Goth's performance in this movie was so good. And the way the movie is shot, like the use of vibrant colors and the way the color pops out, like doesn't feel like an horror movie. And when horrific things go down, it just catches you off guard and it just blows your mind. And the fact that there are a lot of horrific scenes that were shot in the daylight is something that I appreciated so much, because most horror movies I have seen, the horror about them just happens in the night times. But this movie had a lot of daytime horror, and it was so good and so refreshing to see something like that. And I really appreciated this movie so much. Number 8, The Woman King. Oh my god, I don't know why I didn't review this movie, but this movie was so good. The fact that it had female warriors was like one of the best things about it. Like, seeing females kick ass, like kick real ass, like it was so good. Another thing that made me appreciate it is because the stunts, the action sequences, they were done by the real people that played them, not by stunt doubles. Like, Viola Davis really went through some training to play this movie and to shoot the action sequences in it, and like that was so amazing. I respect her more for that. Like, this woman is like 50-something years old and she was still able to shoot this kind of scenes. Man, it just made me appreciate the movie so much. I respect all the ladies that participated in this film. Viola Davis' character was like, a performance in this movie, like, it goes without saying, Viola Davis is always a win, and her performance in this movie was so good. Along with John Boyega, I think John Boyega and Viola Davis were my favorite performances in this movie, and man, they knocked it out of the park for me, and I so enjoyed this movie so much. Number 7, Nope. Nope is Jordan Peele's third film, and this film just like really establishes Jordan Peele as a fantastic director. What it does with this film is so good. Like, I think I said I reviewed this movie, and I said in my review for this movie, honestly, the best part about this film is Jordan Peele's direction. And Jordan Peele directs this movie so well. The way he builds tension, the music he chooses to use, the aesthetic, the environment, everything just works together perfectly. And man, I so love what Jordan Peele did with this movie. Daniel Kaluuya and Kiki Palmer were the main characters in this film, and their chemistry together in this film was another thing that made me appreciate this movie so much. Man, I didn't think I was going to enjoy Nope as much, because I didn't really like Us. Us is Jordan Peele's last movie, his movie before Nope. I didn't really like Us, so I wasn't really thinking much of it. But man, when I saw Nope, and I was like, boy, I saw what he did with it. Man, I was so impressed, and it just made me appreciate Jordan Peele so much more. And man, this movie was... Number 6, I'm Batman. The Batman, man. It was so good seeing the Dark Knight again. It's the Dark Knight, but not in the Dark Knight form. Oh man, it was so good seeing Batman again, and the way they shot this Batman movie, the way it is very, very dark, very, very gritty. It kind of reminded me about Seven. Seven is also if like it has similar elements with the Batman, but it is like the Batman stands on its own. And seeing this kind of Batman film, it was just so good. I don't think I've seen a Batman film that was this dark and this gritty, and it was so good and refreshing seeing something like this. And Paul Dano as the Riddler, man, Paul Dano does not get enough recognition. This guy is a very, very fantastic actor. I've seen him in some movies that make me feel like, how does this guy not get enough recognition? Like, he's so good. And his role as the Riddler was amazing. Like, it took me back to Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight. It was kind of on that kind of level, and it was so good seeing Paul Dano bring so much to this character. And honestly, apart from the whole aesthetic of the film, Paul Dano as Riddler was another thing that made me enjoy this film so much. Number 5, The Northman. Man, I don't think I've seen a movie that struck me the way this movie struck me this year. It was so epic. Like, epic is the best word to describe it. The music, the cinematography, the acting, like everything was just so good. And there was something about it that just about the cinematography that made me really appreciate it. There were a lot of fighting scenes, and the way they shot those fighting scenes, there were a lot of long shots, long takes where the camera just moves, and there is no cut. It just keeps moving. Like, when I see shots like that, it just gets me so, because it takes a lot of preparation to be able to achieve stuff like that, and they were able to achieve it so flawlessly. Like, I was just watching this and I saw this some scenes going. I was like, these people have not cut this scene for once. Like, it was just so good scenes unfold, and I really appreciate it. I love when movie filmmakers can do something very special with their direction, and the direction of this film was so good. Not just the direction, 4. The acting, the music, everything. Like I said, epic is the word to describe this movie. Remember is the only Korean movie I saw this year. Like, I think it's even the only foreign movie I saw this year. But man, it's made a really good impression on me. The acting was so good. Like I said in my review of this movie, the acting was so good. The story was phenomenal. Like, I love Korean stories. Koreans know how to tell stories, and the storytelling in this movie was so good. I enjoyed every part of this movie. Like, there's a reason it's on this list. Like, this movie was so good. I didn't want to put it on number 1 because there were some other movies that made so much for me. But honestly, this movie could have been on number 1 because it was that good. Like, I couldn't find anything wrong with this movie. It was so good. And Koreans, they are the best in telling stories. Like I said before, and I'll keep saying, Koreans are the best in telling stories. And I really enjoyed this movie. Number 3, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Man, I saw 2 movies about the multiverse in this year, 2 multiverse related movies this year, and I was thinking which one should go on this list. But man, Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness did not explore the multiverse as well and as much as this movie explored the multiverse. Like, the people that made this movie, they understood the concept of the multiverse, and they explored it so well. And it was so good seeing different aspects of the multiverse. Like, it was so enthralling to watch, and these people did this movie so well. Michelle Yeoh is the main character in this film, and her performance was so good. Along with the action sequences were amazing. The choreography for the action sequences was so good, and I so love this film. Talking about the multiverse aspect, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone that's not seen it, but there was a part of the multiverse where the main characters were like rocks, and I was like, man, boom! Like, it blew my mind to see something like that, and that, just seeing that scene was what just immediately struck my mind that yes, this movie, they understood what they were doing, and it was so good. I enjoyed it so much. Number 2, Bullet Train. I think this is the only movie I saw Brad Pitt in this year. I don't know, I'm not sure, but this is the only movie I can remember seeing Brad Pitt in. Like, me talking about Brad Pitt doesn't mean Brad Pitt was the only character in this movie. The other characters, Brian Tyree Henry was also in this movie. This girl from Deadpool 2, I can't remember her name, she was also in this movie. And the things that made this movie very good were the characters. So many colorful and unique characters. They are characters that had similar line of work, but the fact that they made them very different and very unique just made me appreciate it more. And what they did with this film was so good. The action sequences were, damn, man, I saw a lot of good action sequences this year. The action sequences in this movie were so good. And the use of music, the way they paired the music with the action sequences was another thing that was so good. It kind of reminded me of Quentin Tarantino movies. If you know me, you know how much I love Quentin Tarantino. So seeing all those things that just kind of reminded me about Quentin Tarantino movies just made me appreciate this movie more. Me saying it reminded me of Quentin Tarantino's movies does not mean like they were trying to emulate Quentin Tarantino. The movie is his own thing. The director of the movie did his own thing, and it made it so good. And man, I love this movie from start to finish. And the fact that Brad Pitt was there, it was just a plus for me. And it was so good seeing Brad Pitt in this role. Number one, 3,000 Years of Longing. Honestly, this movie came out this year, and I have seen this movie like 3 times this year. That was how much this movie meant so much to me. There is no much thing special about this movie, but the main thing I loved about this movie was the way they were telling stories. There are 2 main characters, Idris Elba's character and Tilda Swinton's characters. Most of the part of the movie was just them telling themselves stories about their experiences, and the way those stories were told, and the design of those stories, everything about those stories were just something that really resonated with me. Like, the stories honestly were the best part of it, and I just loved seeing it. Like, I was just listening and just watching, seeing how the stories were unfolding, and learning how they were telling the stories. Man, it was so good. Like, no movie has resonated the way this movie resonated with me, because I loved every single part of it. It had its flaws, yes, but the flaws are nothing compared to the greatness of the movie. And this movie was so good. Like I said, Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba were the main characters, and the chemistry with them and the chemistry they have together was something that even made it so good. Like, they complemented each other so well. If you see it on paper, Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba in this kind of role, you might not really think much of this, because like, I'm sure you could not think of other people that can play these characters even better. But the way they complement each other, the chemistry between them was so good, and it just made me appreciate them so much. And man, I loved this movie so much. I've seen this movie like 3 times this year, and I'm sure I'm still going to see it so many times, because this movie meant so much to me, and I loved it so much. And it's honestly my favorite movie of this year. So that's my list of my top 10 movies of this year. And man, don't come at me if you don't like the movies I listed on this movie, or if you see that there are some movies that they were mainstream movies that I did not talk about. I didn't see a lot of movies this year, and I'm sad that I didn't see a lot of movies, but it happens. And these are the movies that made my year. I was so happy to see these movies, and it makes me feel good to talk about all these movies. And yes, so that's it. So what are your favorite movies of this year? Comment below and let me know. And if this is your first time on my channel, please subscribe. You don't even have to like, just subscribe for more contents like this. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sticking to this time. See you in the next video. The next video is a very special video. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's a very special video. So stay tuned and turn on the notifications so you get notified when the video comes out, because I'm sure it's a video that is going to appeal to a lot of people. So look forward to that video as much as I look forward to it. Thank you for watching till this time. See you in the next video. Cheers.